up? It's cinemashogun here, and the last couple of days in this Kansas City Chiefs fans case has been hectic. Right when I thought that we reached a point where we weren't going to get any more information, all of a sudden we got overloaded with information. You got neighbors speaking out. You got the neighbors showing video from the night that these guys were found. We got to see blurry images of Jordan in handcuffs, in his boxers. And now there's another video that has been released of the backyard where these guys were found. And I'm going to show you that video in just a moment. But of course, we also got this bombshell of information about how at least one of the bodies were found. So as of right now, it looks like two of the bodies were found laying on the ground in the backyard, but one of the bodies, the body of David, he was sitting frozen to a lawn chair. Now, when I heard that detail, it made me wonder, is Jordan telling the truth? Were all of these guys hanging out in some lawn chairs and passed out and winded up freezing to death? And I'm really curious about the positioning of this body. I would like to know the position this body was in when they found it. Was it in a natural position? For example, the case that we were talking about before this case, the Savannah Soto case. A pregnant girl and her boyfriend got killed. Now, the boyfriend was found with his pants down. But it turns out the boyfriend sagged a lot, and it looks as if the boyfriend's pants came down when they were dragging his body from one seat of the car to the other. Now, in this situation, I think that you could look at the positioning of a body and see, hey, does it look like David was sitting in this chair naturally and passed out drunk or whatever? Or does it look like someone kind of positioned his body here? Because I think you would be able to tell. You might not know for a 100% fact, but you could look and be like, okay, it looks like this guy is naturally sitting on a chair, as opposed to, okay, it looks like someone took this guy's body and tried to prop it up. But even so, these guys, these are grown men. These aren't little fellas, these aren't like 5'4", 100 pounds, soaking wet type of dudes. David seems like he was a big dude. Now, dead bodies are hard to pick up and drag. I mean, I would know, right? I've never moved a dead body, luckily. Okay, luckily, I have not been put in that position. But from everything I've heard, it's not easy. So, when it comes to these three men, these are not like three scrawny dudes that you could just drag and throw in the backyard. These are pretty big dudes, especially David. I don't know how tall he is or how much he weighed, but this looks like a big guy. He looks like he's bigger than Jordan to me. So to drag not one, not two, but three bodies into your backyard, that would be kind of difficult. But when we originally heard this story, it seemed as if these three bodies were just laying, in the backyard somewhere. But David, at least one of the bodies being in a lawn chair, just makes it look as if, oh, maybe there is a possibility that, there wasn't any foul play here. Maybe these guys just passed out in the cold and, never woke up. But as I was saying, we have a video of the backyard from where they were found. We got a video that shows the chairs that David was sitting in. So I'm going to go ahead and show that video. I'm going to go ahead and roll this clip. But first, I need a huge favor. I need you to hit that like button. I need you to subscribe. And I need you to ring that notification bell. We got some more crazy updates in this case that I'm going to be getting to in future videos today and tomorrow and the next day. So make sure you ring that notification bell so you can be notified of when these videos get uploaded. But without further ado, let's roll this news clip, and then I'll be right back with more thoughts.
Not just from those windows, but from your own eyes at that entire backyard. Tell me about it.
Yeah, I think it's really important to actually see this view because it gives a little bit more perspective of what that backyard looked like on that night that these three men's bodies were found. I was able to get this from the public access road, public land, able to see into that backyard and shoot this video. And when you take a look at it closely, there's one thing in particular I want to point out, and that's actually the lawn chairs, right? We know from David Harrington's family that Harrington was found right there in that lawn chair, the other two men's bodies actually laying down on the ground. But look, you can see when I zoom in on this video, the two lawn chairs sitting right there on the patio, right? So that gives us some perspective of how David Harrington's body was found, where it was specifically on that patio.
Wait, hold on.
Now, to your point that you've been making all those windows.
Wait, before you move on, don't, because this is insane. I'm going to ask our director to blow that picture up full screen and take us off the screen, because I was thinking about this. That's the kitchen window up high. Those chairs, one of them is kind of below the kitchen window and out of the view of that door, right? That white door. So if he was dead in that chair,
right,
you could definitely say you didn't see him out the kitchen window, you didn't see him out that white door, you didn't see him out the two windows to the left. You should have seen him out of the sliders, right? Except there's a curtain rod over the sliders, and it is entirely possible that the curtains were pulled on those sliders, and you would not see him from the windows on the right, to the right of the sliders. So it is possible if only one window, the big sliding glass doors, had curtains pulled, you might not miss. Were you able to see in that sliders if there were curtains there or if there were big blinds that might have been pulled? Could you get a view of that?
I couldn't say for certain to you, Ashley. What I can tell you is that almost all of these windows have some level of blinds on them. As for specifically that slider glass door, to my eyes right now, it does not appear as if there is anything blocking the way. Of course, time has passed. The police have been inside there, not to mention we believe the homeowner's been inside since Jordan moved out. So things might have been rearranged or changed or, blinds drawn or blinds open. Based on what I can tell, there was nothing right there directly blocking it. I think about these lawn chairs, right? When you think of lawn chairs, a lot of times I think about ones that really lay flat. That's not the case from what I could tell. These look like they belong with like a larger table you could sit and have supper there, you know what I mean? So a large man sitting in a tall chair feels like it would be something that would be very noticeable to the eye. Now, whether or not, like you said, those blinds were closed or the windows were drawn, we don't know. But I think that was really important just to point out that those are the chairs that we believe David Harrington died in.
And, I'm looking at both of them, the position of both of them. If he died in the one on the left, easily you could miss that through all of those windows on, right, the back of the house, not the addition. I'm not going to call it, I'll call it an addition, the jutting out sliding glass door part of the house. I think it's a breakfast nook or something. Easily he could be missed there. If he was over in the chair that's right, again, can I blow that picture up big for the whole screen just to ask our director to take the two of us off, because I just want to get a closer look. Yeah, thank you. So if he's now sitting in the chair that's butted up against the sliders and the windows have curtains on them, because I did see a curtain rod. I did see a curtain rod when I went through the pictures inside that house. You could miss him there too. I mean, out the kitchen window, you could, it's a little harder to miss him there, right? Because it's not right underneath the window, it's just slightly out. But I'm not getting, I'm getting a 1D perspective. Did you get a 3D perspective on that?
Yeah, it might be worth another glance to go back there and see. But I see your point, and I see how it might be possible to miss out on somebody that might be sitting there. But to me, this is a large backyard. It's a large patio. It's hard to see in this 2D format, to your point, but really just the thought of three people out there, two laying on the ground, one sitting upright in a chair. It's just really hard for me to believe that it's not, if anybody glanced out there from any of the 6 other windows, right? From upstairs, from downstairs, the kitchen, or the sliding glass in the breakfast nook, as you call it, right? There's so many opportunities for anyone.
True.
If it snowed over the weekend, aren't you gonna look outside and see how much snow came down?
Maybe.
But, there's just so many opportunities.
You know what? That's the other thing. Maybe there was a light dusting of snow and it was less visible. Or maybe, here's another question for you. Those windows that face out the back, what are they looking at past the yard? Are there neighbors that they're looking right at? Because if I'm getting dressed in those windows upstairs, those windows are closed. I've got blinds on them, and very often, Alex, in my house, I keep the blinds closed even in the day in my bedroom, because potentially people could see in. Do you know what those windows look directly across to? Are there other neighbors?
No, so basically where I'm shooting this video from, you see in the foreground those tall grass. You know, that's right where the road is, and that's where I'm standing on the road. So it is public land, but there's not much of a vantage point from that. You got to kind of get up on your toes in order to see into that backyard. But the point is that there is not much visibility. When you look out from those upper floor windows out, you see the larger road to and from the interstate that leads to downtown.
I don't know if you all have noticed, but it seems like some of these news anchors, especially Ashley Banfield, it seems like they're kind of changing up their tune. When this story first started spreading, these news anchors were like, I don't want to say harsh, but it seems as if they were all calling out the inconsistencies in Jordan's story. It didn't seem like any of them believed Jordan. But now I've noticed a shift, especially when it comes to Ashley. It seems like she's kind of shifting towards Jordan's side. Now, I'll be the first to admit that I've been flip-floppy when it comes to this case, because some details come out that make me think, oh, maybe Jordan is telling the truth. But then other details come out and I'm like, oh, there's no way in hell that Jordan is telling the truth. Now, his story has changed. So right off the bat, we kind of know that he's not being all the way honest about something. Maybe he didn't know that his friends were dead in the backyard, but I guarantee you that he had some knowledge about something. Maybe he partook in some drugs with them. Maybe he knew they were doing drugs. Those are all details that we'll go over in a future video. But I think for a lot of people, including myself, when it was announced that one of the bodies was found in a lawn chair, it really kind of made us start looking at this situation like, okay, maybe there is a slight possibility that Jordan is telling the truth. But I don't agree with what was said in that clip where, oh, it looks like he wouldn't be able to see. No. You got two bodies in the backyard. You got one grown-ass man frozen to a lawn chair on your patio right there. Right there. So even if you missed one of the bodies, you should have seen another body. Even if you missed the body on the porch, maybe you would see the ones in the backyard. Maybe if you missed the ones in the backyard, you would see the ones on the porch. And then we know that some of the items, some of the belongings of these men were left in Jordan's house. We know their cars were outside. It's almost impossible, unless Jordan really was asleep for 2 days, it's impossible in my mind that he wouldn't have noticed anything weird. Because not only do you have bodies in your backyard, you got belongings in your house, you got cars in front of your house, but also you got all of these phone calls, people knocking on the door, texting and everything. And one crucial detail we need to remember. It doesn't matter what a news anchor says from her TV station while looking at some pictures in a video. The woman who broke into Jordan's house has stated that she saw David's body from inside Jordan's house. She didn't break into his house and then go into the backyard and see the body. No, from the room where supposedly all of these men were hanging out at, from the room, as soon as you enter the room, you could see that David was sitting right there. So all this talk of what about curtains? What about blinds? What about this? All of that it's a non-factor. None of that should even be discussed because we already know the truth. We know from the woman who broke in the house that she saw David sitting on the chair from inside the house. So all of this talk about, oh, well, could he have seen this? Could he have seen that? Maybe he had blinds. Maybe he had curtains. No, he didn't have any of that. Because a woman literally broke into his house and saw the body from inside the house, through the window. So there's no excuses that can be made for Jordan. The only way Jordan did not see these bodies is if Jordan didn't look out these windows, didn't go into that room at all, and he just slept for 2 days. But it's kind of hard to believe that Jordan slept for 2 days, especially when the original story was that Jordan left the house multiple times. But that's a detail that everyone has forgotten about. I talked about it on a previous video. This is a key detail that everyone forgot about. That originally, Jordan's lawyer stated that Jordan left the house sporadically over those couple of days, but he never went out the back door. That's why he never noticed the bodies. And yeah, he noticed the cars, but it wasn't a big deal because his friends leave their cars at his house all the time. Now, the family say that his friends never leave the cars there. The neighbors say that his friends never leave the cars there. And now, of course, Jordan's story has changed to, oh, I was asleep for 2 days. I never left the house at all. So who knows what to believe anymore? All I know is from this video that we see in the backyard, I find it damn near impossible to believe that if you were awake, moving around the house, I think you would have noticed something. But let me know what you guys think about this down in the comments below. While you're down there, if you're feeling generous, you can donate to the channel via Cash App. I'll have my Cash App in the pinned comment. You can also donate via Super Thanks or for free. You can help the channel by liking, subscribing, ringing that notification bell, and all of that good stuff. But with that being said, I'll talk to you all very soon in the next one.